Welcome, my name is Jeffrey Kusters. I'm a technology officer at ITQ. In my last video I explained the basics around VMware Cloud and AWS. And today I'm happy to welcome Gilles Chekroun, Cloud Specialist at VMware, to tell a bit more about networking in VMware Cloud and AWS.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
So Gilles, could you start explaining how networking is done in VMware Cloud and AWS?
Sure. Basically, when we deploy an SDDC in VMware Cloud on AWS, we have a cluster of 4 nodes. This is the minimum that we have today. And these 4 nodes are actually EC2 instances. They are bare metal instances, but they are provisioned by AWS using their internal networks. The connectivity from networking point of view is at 25 gig. Okay? So every node has a 25 gig connectivity to the AWS network. On top of that, we deploy the full stack from a VMware point of view. Okay? So we have this SDDC stack, which is basically for the compute, vSphere. Okay. We have NSX, which is the networking part. We have vSAN for the storage, and we have vCenter. Okay, that is the management part. So once we deploy this stack, it takes about 2 hours to deploy it. Then we end up with 2 gateways, okay, from a networking point of view. Remember that NSX does the whole networking with VMware Cloud. We have a management gateway, okay, and we have a compute gateway. Okay, so the management gateway is here to be able to connect eventually to on-prem. So if you want to have a global vision to the on-prem vCenter, you could connect both vCenter together and have a global view over a VPN or a direct connect if you want. Okay, so
this management gateway and the compute gateway, I don't recognize them from the NSX terminology?
Yes, that's true, but in fact they are NSX edges, okay? So NSX is deployed completely within the SDDC frame, and so we have NSX Manager, 3 NSX controllers, we have a management gateway, which are actually 2 edges in HA mode, we have compute gateway, the same situation, and that really helps us for the networking into AWS environment. The first thing we do when we deploy an SDDC is that we are going to ask the customer for a VPC and a subnet, okay? A subnet into an availability zone. So it is important because if you want to use native services from AWS, you need to have this link between your VPC from a customer point of view and between VMware Cloud on AWS.
So how does the network flow between the VMware Cloud and AWS SDDC and the native AWS VPC? Okay,
so that's a very good question, and we work a lot together with AWS to have these networking capabilities built on. So basically, we bring up some interconnection between the VMware Cloud on AWS and Amazon VPC over an elastic network interface.
And that's a native AWS construct.
Right. So this elastic network interface is actually owned by the host that will run the compute gateway at this time. Okay, so when we deploy the SDDC, we deploy, many VMware entities. Okay, and so one of them is vSphere, vSAN. We have NSX, and we have this compute gateway. So if I take a logical view of it, yeah. So I come from internet, okay, and I connect to my compute gateway, okay, and my compute gateway has a connectivity to a logical router, okay, it's a DLR, and below my logical router, I have logical networks. Okay? And on my logical networks, I have VM attached to it. Okay?
This is a typical NSX
so this
topology.
This is very basic NSX connectivity with firewall rules, if you need to open firewall rules. But we have also this ENI connection, okay? And actually, ENI connection is on the compute gateway. So this is the 25 gig connectivity to Amazon, okay? So that allows us the usage of native services.
Okay.
One of the most important points that we did together with Amazon is to build this type of interconnectivity.
So for example, if a customer wants to consume relational database services, RDS, it has a direct 25 gig connection into the VPC.
That is correct. So if I have here a relational database, okay, let's say. So I can take that VM and give it a connectivity point, okay, that will go through the ENI into the relational database. The advantage here is that it stays in the same region. It stays in the same availability zone. It's a very high-speed connection, and I don't pay any egress charges on it, okay? Because it doesn't go through the internet. It stays inside, okay?
So that unlocks a great amount of use cases.
Yeah, for example, many customers are using S3 buckets, okay? So they have S3, and they have an endpoint on an S3, and if I want to copy an object from that VM to S3 bucket, I use the same ENI, and I go to my S3 endpoint, and I can copy a bucket, okay?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for explaining, Gilles. If you want to know more about VMware Cloud and AWS and specific use cases with native AWS service integration, feel free to contact me on my email address below, and I'm more than happy to help. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Jeffrey.